Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey, and with us, of course, we have the dashing Dave Fear.
Good afternoon.
Welcome on board, Dave. No Manu today. The businessman is on business as usual, and I guess again he's leaving
everyone
us.
wants a piece of Manu. There's just not enough Manu to go around.
We need to find more Manus.
Exactly. Some kind of Manu replication service.
Yes, that's the next step. And there was a thing about quantum computers around a couple days ago.
Yes, apparently they are stealing computational power from the multiverse. Is what I heard, which that was a bit of a curveball. That's not the headline I expected to read.
Is that a thing for reals, or?
Well, I think so. They did this particular calculation that it would have taken sort of a standard supercomputer some septillion number of years, a very large number. I don't know how many septillions, but even one, is a lot. So
no idea what that is, but yes, okay.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I'll just roll with it.
And it was able to do it. I mean, in something significantly less than the lifespan of the universe. So people are wondering how it's able to do it so quickly, and one person, and not like a crazy. Not like a crank.
Is that a Twitter person you're referencing now, or
no? It was.
I saw a Twitter post.
About
this.
Google. It was a Google researcher suggest this, and I think that Google's PR department's like, yeah, let's roll with that. I like that.
What was it? Was it centillion? What was that again?
Septillion.
Septillion. I have to Google that. Is that even a real thing?
It's just a big number.
Feels like a more of an alien invasion type thing.
Yeah.
Septillion. But what I was reading was that it just didn't deal in ones and zeros, like on and off.
Yeah.
It was dealing with matrices, like multiplying matrices or whatever.
Yeah, I think the basic thing is that it's not just a particle that can be like charged or not charged. It can sit at different places in a quantum configuration, that the electron can be in different places. And so theoretically, and apparently now practically, that is exponentially more computational power, especially if you are borrowing it from other dimensions.
Because so for those who don't know, my background is in chemical engineering, which has nothing to do with what we were doing today. And last time I touched math was 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, because the electrons are like in a probability of being in a specific space at a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you harness that power to do calculations, then of course it's not about multiverse, but it's obviously a lot of power. By the way, the septillion thing, apparently that's 24 zeros.
24 zeros. Okay, yes. That's a lot.
Yes. Wait a second. That's American. Americans use 24 zeros, and British use 42 zeros. I don't know why there's a difference there.
That's a really big difference, too. That's a huge difference.
That's the septillion.
So there's an imperial septillion, and there is an American septillion. Is there a metric septillion?
Why?
Is it just the British that use this, or is that a metric?
I have a feeling the British have their own thing. I feel like the Americans have their thing because an American foot is something compared to a British foot.
Yeah. Are they the same? Actually, I think they might be the same. American foot versus British foot. I think
you'll see 2 feet side by side. Because one is based on it's
very small, and it does exist, but it is very small and barely noticeable. Yeah, a lot of the weird stuff that America does is basically like left over from England, and then they kind of stopped doing it, and we kept doing it. Imperial system's the big one.
Wait a second. Do students? So let's say I'm a kid. I grow up in this mid-America town or whatever, learning about feet and shit, and then
I love your depiction of being just middle America. We got feet, we got inches, we got whatever you want.
Yeah, we got inches, we got yards and shit. And then there's something called a yardstick. I don't know what that is, but anyways. So and then all of a sudden I'm at university now, Caltech or whatever, And now I'm dealing with these complete different metrics. Is that what it's called?
Metrics. Yeah.
Metrics, yeah. So are they just switching like on the spot as they start university, or do they do that in high school?
When you're doing sort of science in high school, you're going to be using the metric system. So in your chemistry class, you're going to be and in physics and all that kind of stuff, you'll be using metric.
So I wonder if it's like this revelation every semester of people like starting high school. They're like, okay, so I've been taught this thing for all my life. Now you're teaching me this correct thing.
Yeah, well, and then it's not like we stop using our own measurements. We use that in like all day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
It's really
Miles
just
per hour
it's
and
really
all that
just the sciences that
Yeah.
you, because even like construction and various kinds of engineering, those are still going to use that. It's really science is where you can see metric.
For us in Europe, the only relevance is like a TV inches. Like, I had a 55-inch TV.
Right.
That still exists. I don't know why that exists, but that's interesting. That it's
especially for walking distances. I was able to really make the transition to metric a lot easier because of Pokemon Go. I was already measuring my day in KMs.
So they should give Pokemon Go to all the students at school. Dave, are you playing anything these days? Anything new on that front?
Let's see. I'm playing some NDA things.
NDA things.
So can't obviously not talking about those, but I was playing Warhammer. Finally got around to that. That's nice. Super cool. Really fun. It's got like elements of Doom, where you're recovering your health through executions, and you're really there's a real emphasis on keeping moving, staying violent, continuing to do fun destructive things, and then it's got the gameplay is totally different than Gears of War, but it definitely has a similar notion of the weight and the charging into things that you see that it's like, for me, I would call it a cross between Doom and Gears of War.
Is that the one that's called Dawn of War, or
no, that's an RTS. This is RTS. Space Marine 2.
Space Marines.
There's a lot of Warhammer 40k games.
I mean, I'm looking at Steam TV trying to see what the health is.
Yeah,
and it looks pretty healthy. Ish.
Yeah, I think it's already successful,
now
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to compare it to Helldivers, but it seemed like Helldivers had much better numbers.
Yeah, I think that's
no,
right.
Sorry, I apologize. This is Total War Warhammer 2.
Oh, yeah.
Warhammer 2.
Space Marine 2.
They really need to get these names in order. Let me see here. Okay, that looks much better. Yeah, this is much better. Okay, well, that's interesting. Are you playing? Do you have a group of friends that you play with, or what's the deal?
Because I've done campaign, so I haven't done the multiplayer yet. But I think that's kind of the meat of what's going on there. But the campaign is, it's fully featured. It's got shiny graphics. They do a nice thing where like there's like a giant horde of bugs that looks kind of like a cinematic horde, but then they actually do come at you, and they are individually rendered and part of the gameplay. And that's very cool and well executed.
I'm still on Elden Ring. The DLC seems to be.
You're just there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the DLC seems to be harder or tougher.
That's what I heard. I actually kind of didn't do it for that reason, because I was really busy, and I don't have space in my brain right now for that.
However, I do have on top of mind right now, even though I have Metaphor Fantasio, Refantasio, whatever.
Refantasio.
Good lord, I mean,
gotta do it again.
So even though I have that one on the table waiting for me, I think I'm very intrigued by the new Indiana Jones.
I am too.
I'm hearing really good stuff.
I like the idea. I hear it's kind of like an immersive sim, but like more contained. It's sort of a more linear kind of immersive sim, which I think is a fun idea. And I like the idea of approaching a cinematic game with that kind of combat. So that it sounds like a good idea. It's free on Game Pass, so just gotta click install.
Hell yeah. I will add, I'm very impressed by Machine Games. I mean, obviously, a lot of those people are former Starbreeze people. So they have worked on Riddick, they have worked on Payday and these types of games, and then they broke off, started their own thing, and did the good lord, what's that game called again? The one with the red cover, Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
several of them. But what's intriguing with the new release with Indiana Jones is that I read that there wasn't much shooting. Like I think somebody completed the game by shooting 10 bullets. I don't know. It was like it seems like they have found a different formula to first-person action adventure. Is what I'm picking up on.
Yeah, and that's exciting because and I think that like you're seeing a similar thing with like Hitman and IO getting the James Bond license. That like there aren't many movies or stories that are told where the main character like kills 60 people every 10 minutes. And so like this is bringing
that was the Uncharted problem as well.
Yeah, no,
like you have this guy who just murdered like an army of 1,000 people.
Yeah, and he's making his quips. And like that's the Ludo narrative dissonance thing. That I think Uncharted is kind of what Tom Bissel's original post was about, a blog post was about, talking about that stuff.
But I like that part though, because I feel like Uncharted 4 became too serious, too, I don't know. It felt like it didn't have that charm that number 1 to 3 had, which was like, hey, there's just these like, cool small gang of explorers out in the world. It's like the old movies.
Yeah, no, they're based on these old Pope movies. That's
exactly.
I didn't like 4. 4 was beautiful. It had some great vistas.
Absolutely.
But honestly, one of my favorite, maybe Uncharted 2 is probably my favorite. But I think after that, my favorite is Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PlayStation Vita. Because here, like, we don't have to worry about like Drake's crisis of identity. We don't have to worry about him, trying to figure out the rest of his life. It's just a straight ahead adventure story. That's it.
Yep.
And I think it really, really shines that way. There
is a place for that, and it's called The Last of Us. Okay, exactly. So keep that shit on the side. Let leave Uncharted.
Can Naughty Dog make fun games again? I want them to make a fun game. Yeah.
I think I mean, if you look at Insomniac.
Yeah, they stay fun.
Holy shit!
Definitely fun.
Rift Apart. Ratchet and Clank, one of the best games ever made.
Yeah,
and nobody
with that.
Amazing game. Amazing game.
I mean, games like that are always destined to sort of underperform because it was an early PlayStation 5 exclusive. You got to show things off. Yeah. But the install base is obviously just going to be low.
No, I mean that is the fact. But the experience was,
what a cool game.
And because of the cartoony element of it, like you feel like you are in a Pixar movie.
Yeah, and very successfully. I mean, you feel like you're in the Ratchet and Clank movie. It looked just like the Ratchet and Clank movie.
Absolutely.
I played that game with like a necro build. Like I had all kinds of summons and that kind of thing, and it was super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dave, there is a couple things we need to talk about. Obviously, we have the Game Industry Executive Summary, but I think there are 3 big games who are very close to each other and released in a very... I mean, we talked about Indiana Jones already, but who are finding a lot of success on Steam, at least from the numbers we can see. Path of Exile II, Marvel Rivals, and Delta Force. And I feel to a certain extent what is interesting here with all these 3 in common, I feel like they're filling a gap in these genres that is kind of missing-ish. So as an example...
Delta Force, they're all very similar, actually. Yeah.
So I was going to say, as an example, like I was trying to give you this example of Marvel Rivals. And I was trying to make this analogy of Marvel Rivals is the card game... what's that other Marvel card game called?
Snap.
I forgot the name of Snap. It's the Snap of hero shooters.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think, it's a little more approachable. It's got recognizable characters, and it's free. And that's all 3 of these are free to play games.
Huge cast of characters, by the way.
Yeah, huge. And I think what's interesting about a Marvel game is sort of the cultural competency you can assume. So when you release like a fucking hamster ball in Overwatch, then you need to like communicate to people, what does this hamster ball do? But we all kind of have an idea that like Captain America's got a shield, right? He's gonna have defense powers. Like we understand some stuff about these characters already, and that makes it a lot easier to support a wide cast because you don't have to do as much explaining. Like Squirrel Girl, she's got squirrels.
Yeah, absolutely. There is that familiarity. Oh, by the way, that's NetEase.
Yeah,
I kind of missed that. Yeah, and I was watching a review as well, talking about like the approachability to this game. A lot more approachable than your,
yeah, because
typical.
Overwatch is not. That is not a goal.
Yeah,
It's approachability. They were going to the top. They're going for esports. It looks great. It's a great looking game.
it is. It is. And it seems like I mean every character plays well, and they have a tag system where like if characters are friends, like let's say Groot and what's the rat called again?
Raccoon, Rocket
The
Raccoon.
raccoon, Rocket, and Groot. Uh, you can actually, if you're playing Rocket, you can sit on top of.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
real
you can
cool.
like
Yeah,
do combinations and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. I gotta check this out. I'm
Yeah,
download it. Looks cool.
and then of course, obviously, I'm showing some stuff in the background while we speak about these. Both you and me were at Gamescom,
That's
and
right.
Delta Force had a huge booth.
Yeah,
I'm gonna actually pull up a trailer. And that game, by the way, you mentioned something interesting. All of these three are free to play.
pretty sure Delta Force is free to play as well. Marvel Rivals is free to play, and Path of Exile is free to play. Yeah.
Yes. So Delta
Uh,
Force is also free to play. Is that correct?
Let me just make sure. I thought it was.
Because that is another thing that is very interesting in this equation, as they are trying to fill these gaps that people were not thinking
Yeah, it
about
is.
or not.
Yeah,
It is. Oh wow. But Delta Force looks freaking amazing because Battlefield has unfortunately lost kind of like the
it
ground.
has. Yeah, it's not like gone, but it doesn't have its position is not strong.
Yeah.
It's vulnerable.
Have you had any chance to play this game or look at it in any shape or form?
Just a little bit, just seeing what's up with it. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it it looks like a military shooter, right? So and everyone says it's kind of a Battlefield scale sort of thing.
Yeah, it does look like
And
that.
there's definitely an opening there for a free to play slick thing. It's a risky ass opening because you're always coming against Call of Duty, and like that's just there. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean there isn't an opening for a free to play
Now I'm
contender.
really interested to see where Delta Force sits on Steam DB. Is it?
Hmm. Well,
Give me
this
a
is all.
second.
Oh, it's DB.
These are not the
It's
Delta
just called
Force.
Delta Force.
Just Delta Force. I don't
Reviews
know
are
why.
mixed as of now, so
There it is.
that's not ideal. But obviously, that doesn't matter as much for a free to play game because it will not
I
necessarily
mean,
keep people from downloading it.
yeah. I mean, they have 100,000 players almost playing right now as we speak. Roughly 2 million owners at this point, or a million and a half. Um, but it seems like if they keep at it, and that was a Tencent game, right? If I remember correctly.
It's publisher is Teamy Studio. Is that Tencent?
No, I thought it was. Wasn't it Level Infinite?
Yeah. So Level Infinite's involved. There's
Oh,
what is Teamy Studio Group? Who's in that? Yeah. So that Teamy parent company is Tencent, and I
okay.
believe. Uh, I thought it was Level Infinite as I saw Level Infinite attached to it somewhere. Let's see what
Um,
Level Infinite's
I
website says.
thought that was the case as well. I'm trying to see if I can find something on the website. While let me just, by the way, I'll bring up the website because I feel like, and I worked on Battlefield, so it does feel very Battlefieldy. Um,
Yeah, I don't think so.
no,
I don't see it.
it's not a Tencent. Maybe if I
No, it
go
is
to.
It's not Level Infinite.
Oh, it's not Level Infinite. Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay,
TV Studios.
fair enough. So do we foresee any? Um, I guess with these three games, what's interesting here, by the way, Path of Exile and Marvel Rivals cracked through the top 5 on Steam TV.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any predictions in terms of like longevity? Because we all know.
Yeah, always an issue.
Yeah.
Path of Exile, I think, is going to be all right. I think they have had. I haven't been following too closely, but I think they've had some shaky
There.
stuff. They've had to patch, but they have a strong community. They have a good name, and I think they'll be able to get through those early any game, any loot game is gonna have early balance issues, right?
I mean, by the way, look at this, Dave. This is pretty awesome. Like you look at Path of Exile, and we've when I used to work at Arrowhead, we used to follow Path of Exile and look at their study both their growth, but also they have some really good talks at GDC. So for those who are listening, just go back to the GDC Vault, check out one of the Path of Exile's presentation. They talk a lot about how they manage live service and how they manage content pipelines and made sure to slowly build things over time. And you can see that in the graphs I showed, where and they also had this realistic approach, by the way, about live service. It's impossible to keep players every single day. Like that's just crazy. Right. But if you keep them every 3 months, they come back to do a small thing here or there. That is where and that's, by the way, I have to share this again. I'll share my screen. I mean, it's so reflected in their chart with these continuous spikes. I feel like it's pretty unique.
Well, I think that strategy is more sustainable. Because like when I think about games that I've gotten super into, like Destiny, Genshin Impact, and that kind of thing, and when you are playing every day, and if the problem with that is if you break that momentum, it's incredibly hard to get it back. So like once you stop playing every day, then you just stop playing because your relationship to it has changed.
That's a burnout. Yeah. By the way, look at this. This is Warframe. Also, almost similar-ish spikes every month or two or so. Okay.
I played probably 30, 40 hours of Warframe at one point. I should check back in it. That was a while ago. Yeah.
Wow. They have been so smart about sustainability and building with time.
Yeah, they have. We've seen other studio, Warframe and Destiny come up a lot in the same sentence, and obviously Bungie went wider and sort of got burned by doing that.
They try to do everything.
Yeah.
And that, I think, to that end, it also becomes one of those things where, so you come in to the game and you have so many choices. It's almost like the Netflix problem. You go in, and then there are so many choices. You just sit there and scroll instead of playing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then, or you just if you're playing it hard, then you just sort of have a checklist. And even that can be, I don't know, it leads to the burnout problem.
Okay, Dave, do you know what time it is? It is time to jump over to the news.
It's time.
It's time. Shout out to Bruce Buffer, my favorite fighting announcer. But okay, we already covered Path of Exile, obviously. Path of Exile 2 sets new
500,000 concurrent. That's good.
Yep.
And also,
early access.
Yeah, so ultimately it will be, I'm pretty sure Path of Exile will be free to play. But right now, it's early access and you got to pay for that. So this
starting $30.
Yeah, so 500,000.
Oh wow, that's huge.
That's good. They're
but that's just concurrent.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I have to go back to Steam PB. Give me a second here. So that means they have sold roughly-ish between 1.5 and $4 million. Sorry, 4 million copies. So roughly 3 million-ish copies-ish, give or take.
So that's good, and especially considering this is
really good.
This is early. This is early access, and people are going to be buying shit in game too. Like there's a lot to like.
And here's what is going to be interesting to me specifically. I have to check if they're available on console. Oh wow! Early access launch December 6th. It does say PS5, Xbox here, and Epic Games as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
that is really cool.
So they made like the 10 people that have Epic Games but not Steam can get it there.
Come on, we have the Fortnite people. They might be interested.
Yeah, Fortnite should do an action RPG similar to like Minecraft.
Don't give them ideas, Dave. Don't give them ideas.
I think they've got ideas. I don't think they're short on that.
I think they are not short on anything at this point.
No.
Okay, I'll move over to the next item on the highlights here. Which is Epic Games, speaking of Fortnite, launches Fortnite's exciting Ballistic mode. So what I want to do now is I actually want to check what this is because
this is a Call of Duty competitor. Is what it is. First person, squad based.
Let me see if I can find something for us.
Yeah.
So this is it first. It's first person?
Yeah.
That is interesting. I know they've been working on first person capabilities for a while.
Yeah, they've done. It's more like Counter Strike, but I think it is still sort of coming for Call of Duty and
Wow.
that kind of thing.
Well,
It's a Counter Strike
is it
run
Call of
game.
Duty, or is it
I
like
think
it's
it's Counter.
almost
I think it's Counter Strike.
Counter Strike and the other one? What's the other one from?
Valorant.
Yes, Valorant. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's more Call of Duty, from what I'm seeing here. But
You're buying weapons. There's a
yeah,
purchase phase. There's like a waiting phase. Like you die, you wait for your turn. I believe it seems like there's a map HUD. Um, I mean, it does feel like yeah, it's the Counter Strike / Valorant crowd. That's very interesting.
yeah.
It is this one of those things, Jay? I would love to hear from you about this. I mean, you know the term enshittification, right?
Mhm.
Are we looking at that? Is this the early enshittification of Fortnite?
No, that's
Where
not this.
no?
Enshittification, I think, is more. You could arguably say it's like selling the shoes and that kind of thing, but yeah, that's not so bad.
Well, they
No,
are,
yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, they are selling the shoes. No, I don't think that's what this is.
Okay.
This is just Epic Games making a Counter Strike competitor,
Okay.
and it so happens that this is the platform which they do so, and they're hoping that they can scoot some people over for it.
Okay. Thank you for that analysis, Dave. I'll move over to the news. And I think we all obviously saw this coming. It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. I'm just surprised they didn't pull the plug much earlier. But unfortunately, of course, Rocksteady ends Suicide Squad's development
Yeah,
less than a year after release.
yeah, the whole story. It's a painful story for everyone involved. No,
Is anybody impacted, by the way, from a dev team perspective? Is that something we know
I
anything about?
think
Or
did they have layoffs? I mean, I can't imagine it's great.
I just want
Yeah, they got layoff after
really.
Suicide Squad in September.
Can somebody just please make this for us? Just like, come on, we're not
Yeah,
asking for a lot. Come on, guys. Like,
yeah,
just keep it simple.
yeah. Well, this is always the problem, and I worry that it might have happened with Arcane Austin as well. Is that you get all these people and they're good at something, right? And they're Rocksteady is good at making Arkham games and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then the powers that be ask them to make something totally different. It sucks. In the process, you lose a lot of your talent. You lose a lot of the kind of creative momentum of your studio. And then, yeah, you can get back to making the thing that you were going to make, but you're not in as strong a position to do so as you were before.
I hope this is a lesson learned in some shape or form. I know that the strategy, because live service became this gold mine that everybody wanted to get into, and I believe we read a couple days ago they kind of moved away from doing live service games like that strategy, and moving back to like the Hogwarts type games where they actually found success.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, selling people a game and letting them play it is, in fact, a monetization strategy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're going with.
Dave, we spoke about Palworld a while ago.
They had to change their Pokeball, didn't they?
So
their Palball or whatever.
Was it called a Pokeball?
I don't think it was called a Pokeball, but apparently it was close enough to a Pokeball that they are going to change it.
Okay.
They're going to pay 50,000 British pounds. That is 10 million yen. That doesn't feel like a lot of money here.
An injunction.
Injunction.
Does that mean like a cease and desist, or does that mean?
Yeah, I think that it could mean a lot of. I think it could mean different things, but in this case, my guess they want them to stop selling their game or running their game, which that would be.
But at this point, like I don't know, was this a year ago or so? But they've made bank at this point, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They're doing well.
Okay, I'll move over to the next item, my friends, which is Games Workshop and Amazon finalized deal for Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40,000 cinematic universe, but production may take a number of years. So we know Henry Cavill is a big nerd.
Yeah.
Who builds computers and plays games and shit.
And paints Warhammer miniatures.
Oh, there you go. I guess a major nerd then.
Yeah.
So have you heard about this story, by the way?
I know he's been trying to make it happen. I know he was also, from his big nerdery, he was instrumental in like getting himself to be Geralt in The Witcher. He was like, "This is my nerd shit. Please put me in this." And I think it's basically the same story here. That he's been really forward talking about Warhammer. He's a Warhammer guy, and like I'm assuming that everyone sees, that you see Game of Thrones, which is old at this point, even though House of the Dragons happened. Warhammer is really well set up for this. I think one of the issues is that like to do it proper is expensive because it's like all about scale and massive ships and massive hordes and that kind of thing. So there's and like even the basic thing of like you got to have dudes stomping around in Space Marine armor, and that's not cheap. If you got to make yourself like 100 sets of Space Marine armor things that look cool enough to like satisfy fans like that. There's just it's a big operation. But it's obviously right for it. People love Warhammer. There's a ready thing for it, and if they do a good job with it, I think it'll be successful.
Cool. Thank you. I'll look at the next item then on the news. Call of Duty fans get Black Ops 6 Zombie Santa loading screen the finger amid AI Slop backlash. That's a mouthful.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what's happened here. Do they feel like that image is AI made? Is that what's happening?
That's what people are saying. Yeah, I don't remember if it was actually confirmed or not. But
at the center of the backlash is a loading screen image of Zombie Santa, aka Necroclaus, which some have said shows the undead Father Christmas with 6 fingers. Does he have 6 fingers? But he's a zombie. He can have as many fingers as he wants.
I think generally a zombie would have fewer fingers. Where are they getting more?
3, 4, 5. But it's a bit at a weird angle. Yeah. Weird angle on that. But okay, so do you believe? I mean, I assume these professionals, I know artists, they don't fucking mess around. They don't do this shit.
No. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not qualified to say whether or not yes, this is or yes, this isn't. But it also would not be, it would not be shocking to me in the slightest if Activision cheaped out on some stuff.
In July, apparently, Wired reported that Activision sold an AI-generated cosmetic for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 last year.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So maybe, I mean, Bobby had some thing to say about that.
Oh, everyone loves Bobby.
Okay. Is he out now, by the way, or he's still attached to that thing?
Is he still?
I
don't know. He was talking about buying TikTok at one point.
He's probably on a yacht.
I think he's out. If he's not like formally out, then he's still out.
Okay. That's just a weird thing. Okay, Dave, I'll move over to the trends if you don't have any. He's out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the trends, my friends, obviously we spoke about Marvel Rivals. Features console-only crossplay and other games can learn from it. So this is a bit... I mean, crossplay console versus PC has always been like, an issue-ish thing.
Sure.
Do you have any take on this? So it seems like Rivals specifically only allows consoles to crossplay with each other.
So it's a controller versus mouse keyboard situation.
Yes. No, I remember back in the day, and especially Call of Duty, they actually sometimes some things make you a bit like question things, but they had employed a mechanic where the system continuously asks you to change over to crossplay, and then it tricks you. So it tricks you by asking and highlighting the wrong button for you to press. So it forces you to kind of like almost play against, PC people. And I could notice it, at least when I used to be very deep into Call of Duty 2 or 3 years ago. I used to notice it because you get slaughtered. I mean, you have zero chance to react and do things.
Yeah.
And that was annoying. So I am all for it, but I just feel like give people the option to opt
Yeah, well,
out.
because especially when it comes down, if you're doing match made things, if you're just messing around, then yeah, I think it makes sense. But like, and people want to play with their friends, if they're coming into it with you can do crossplay and like everyone goes into the same pool and gets put around together, and that can be problematic. But if everyone who is choosing to like play is choosing so consciously to play with their friends and they know what they're getting into, then that seems fine to me.
Uh, okay. Says here, by the way, there's seems like Apex Legends is the gold standard. So I'll let
Yeah, so this
people.
is they're doing what I was describing. It looks like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's move over to the next item on the trends. Sony shares hit record high on gaming entertainment prospects. So I wonder, does this have to do with is it called Fukujima or no Fuku? What's the name? The parent name of from software again? I think I
Kodaco.
had nothing to do with Fukujima. I don't know
No,
why. I
don't know
apologize.
what that is.
Maybe I was thinking about Fujitsu Siemens or something like that. But does this have anything to do with that?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think this is still like, Last of Us show was a little while ago, but people are still excited about the prospects there. God of War show is happening. PS5 continues to do well. Like, I think people are just excited and they see a good future. I think also Portal has sold pretty well. Uh,
Sorry, Portal.
yeah, PlayStation Portal.
What's that? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the okay, gotcha. I thought it was like a Portal reference to the game Portal. Like
Yeah, yeah.
what? Portal's back.
Portal's great. Everyone
We
loves
need Portal
Portal.
3. Come on, Valve, make it
Yeah.
happen. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like, selling something like the Portal, that's good money for them, and that's gonna help their attach rate too. I think they're just doing good. People are excited, and PlayStation has now in sort of the hardware space beaten Xbox. Obviously,
Yep.
Microsoft is changing the way
Yep.
that it presents the word and the concept Xbox, but the word box still in there.
Yep.
And so I think people are seeing like the PlayStation is the dominant machine for this kind of thing. And here I'm indicating my PlayStation, which is down there. But like, we have the console space is Switch and PlayStation. They don't compete a huge amount, I don't think. And that's it, you know.
So PlayStation is currently, and this is October 2024 numbers, sitting at roughly 60 million copies sold. Xbox.
Yeah, so it'll beat Xbox 360.
Xbox Series S. There we go. It's at 30 million, which is half the number. I mean, that's not terrible in my opinion. But
No,
obviously,
it's
like
not. It's
yeah,
not. But I also wonder, how many of those happened earlier, and like if if the attach rate is still good on those things, or because I do think it was closer at the beginning of the generation, and PS5 has continued to
yeah.
expand.
Especially being able to put out like exclusive that people desire.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, hey,
back.
Indiana Jones, man.
Oh yeah, that's happening.
Yeah,
So, and I have two Xboxes side by side
there you go.
for the kids. And I have Xbox Game Pass, so that's happening. I will absolutely. It's going to be a Christmas game, I think, for me.
That's cool.
Okay, let's see here on the trends. Next item: GTA 6 Fall 2025 release has game studios rethinking launch. So this is this is a classic. Back in the day, this used to be a
Yeah.
huge thing where you had to actually plan your release and plan it around everybody else and all that stuff. So I guess don't release a game next year. Is that what we're saying now, or what's going on, Dave?
I could don't release it in fall. I mean, I think they're right. Like, I think Call of Duty can still do it, but
Yeah.
I would be, I would not want to be within 30 days on either side of GTA 6's release, if that.
I think didn't we play a game last time in predicting numbers for GTA 6? Because I
Maybe.
think GTA 5 had like 1 billion in sales on day one, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that GTA 6 is gonna crush that. I think
10x or that.
$10 billion in one day.
I don't
That would
know. I
be
mean, if it's all platforms and also previous generation,
Well, it's not launching on PC, is it?
Well, what is it? What is it? If Delta Force, Rivals, and Path of Exile almost like together, almost got like, well, they're free to play, obviously, but I mean that could
Yeah, but they're free to play. And this is
yeah
GTA, so
yeah
like
yeah.
yeah.
But if they do a like, okay, so all platforms, including Steam, it has to be on Steam as well, right?
Is it GTA 6 Steam launch?
I know that
The
yeah, Rockstar does have their
Yeah,
own launcher.
yeah, they have their own, but I don't know that because Red Dead, yeah, it's coming to PC later.
Okay,
Red Dead came out on Steam, and I think it's just easier to sell stuff on Steam at the end of the day.
it is. It is, and they can also do the thing that we asked them to do, like charge $100.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want, but yeah, so PC is coming later. IGN always defaults to the Dutch site when I go over there, so I'm just staring at a bunch of Dutch words right now that aren't giving me a lot of information.
Okay, so I guess I'll just move over to the rumors then.
Yeah.
So the only rumor we have today, my friends, is that Valve may be ready to revive Steam machines with Project Fremont.
Mm-hmm.
Steam machines, was that like
It's like a console-ish.
so like an Apple TV thing?
Yeah, they were designed. They were designed to be used in conjunction with Big Picture Mode, which kind of launched alongside of them. Designed to be plugged into the TV, and yeah, I don't know. It seems like that might be a decent time to check that out. I mean, I've always run my TV at home off of a mini PC, which is just so much better than using like a smart TV OS or anything like that. Like it's simple, clean, it's Windows, and like I can play adventure games on it. And so
that's amazing.
yeah,
You can do whatever
I
you want.
highly recommend to anyone who is angry at their smart TV OS just buy a mini PC. It's a great way of doing it. It's
I
also a
use
lot easier to use VPNs.
yeah, well, that's absolutely a fact. I do use the Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV is the best of them.
It's really good. And I obviously have I use VLC and I have my own like NAS server.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to do stuff like or pull stuff or do a VPN or whatever, then that is available. But it's a hassle to get that to work.
Yeah, it's just if you're doing Windows, it's just always going to be a little easier to work with.
Just a quick question then back on the Steam machines. So if I have a Steam Deck, is that the same thing if I connect the Steam Deck to the TV?
Or is that? I mean, obviously, that's a major question. Is right. What if that's what they want to do? Is the Steam machine is a dock for the Steam Deck?
Oh, there is no dock. Standard.
Don't think so. I mean, you can plug it in with HDMI. I think.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I don't have a Steam Deck. I should get one.
It feels like it should make sense.
But a dock, a Switch style dock, would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And theoretically, you could just sell it separate, right?
Absolutely. Especially if you're Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, Steam is not Nintendo. Valve is not Nintendo. They are different companies with different employees.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's in the rumors.
Okay, I'll move over to the numbers then.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity Nikki, do you remember that game? That looked amazing.
Yeah. What's up with it? It was
topped 10 million downloads in just 4 days.
All right, go Nikki. Nice job.
That game was extremely interesting last time we looked at it.
Yeah,
and it was interesting here that I think both times we have this news story about Infinity Nikki in the numbers, not anywhere else.
Putting up numbers.
The cute and cozy dress-up game with an open world and gacha elements has topped 10 million downloads. I was going to say Sticky Nicky, which is an ice cream. I think I said that last time. It's an ice cream shop in Stockholm.
Okay, good.
But Infinity Nikki is not an ice cream shop. Is that thing available on Steam?
Is it? I think it's on mobile.
Really? Yeah, it's not on Steam.
Yeah, I think it's.
Is it really mobile only?
No, it's not mobile only.
PS5.
Yeah, it says Microsoft Windows. They might have their own launcher. Genshin has its own launcher, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think that.
I mean, this looks so good, man.
It does. I think that these games they put a lot of effort into their mobile versions. Like I know mobile is a really big deal for Genshin.
Yeah,
But yeah, I should
absolutely.
try this. I like some cozy shit. You know,
I mean, it looks super interesting.
it does.
Especially related to. Let me just go up here. It feels very Final Fantasy
Mm-hmm.
ish.
Yeah, I could see some chocobos running around there.
Yep. So it has a lot of good feels type things. Okay, cool. Last one of the numbers. We're back wrapping. Like this is like going all the way around here now again. And I'm sure that if Manu was here, he would not have allowed that. But we're doing it today.
Yeah, exactly.
Marvel Rivals, 10 million players in 72 hours.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Overwatch is old and creaky, and people are generally they did not handle the transition to 2 very well. People still playing it, but like I think it's clear right now that people like hero shooters. People that is an established genre right now, and I do think Overwatch is vulnerable. This seems like a good shot at it.
I mean, you'd think because at one point, and especially with Concord, unfortunately, or at least I was in the mood that hero shooters are not necessarily dead, but like breaking into that genre type of game. But I just want to go back to what we were speaking in the beginning. It feels like really like this is the Marvel snap of card games or of hero shooters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the problem with Concord was it had no reason to exist, right? And this has a reason to exist. It's Marvel.
Well, we all thought it was a single player game when they announced it.
Yeah, and also, you're trying to make a competitive game, which is a premium pricing only on PlayStation 5. That's just tough. That's a tough place to be.
Absolutely. Dave, we have reached the end of our...
Yeah, just like that.
I mean, time flies when we're having fun.
I know.
I really appreciate this. It was fun talking to you.
It was fun talking to you as well.
Appreciate it, man. And maybe we'll see an update to the bed.
Yeah, things. Yeah. So you see the shelf is gone.
Things are happening.
I'm gonna. The plan is to get some nice pillows, perhaps a large Snorlax, and then see what kind of room I have on the wall to expand that art, because that was right above the top of the shelf. Now I got a little more room to play with.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we do there. I could put my Van Gogh Pikachu, maybe in addition to the Edward Monk Pikachu.
Cool. I'm getting pinged elsewhere. Really sorry about this. But
that's all right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and joining us. MightyDiamonds.substack.com for the newsletter. Mighty.diamonds for our website. You can find us on LinkedIn. Dave is the expert of reviewing content and working with you on making your game better. I am just here having fun with Dave.
And you can sell yourself as well. That's all right. Casey does things. Casey is.
I do things. I make things happen, basically. Yeah. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Good seeing you.
Bye.